And welcome back to another What If in the week of What Ifs. And this one comes to us from Tyrese Ramirez, who asked the question, what if the Naruto filler arcs were canon? Now, there's a reason I chose this for a one-shot, because there's a reason they're filler. There's a reason they're not part of the original series. Anything that's filler is not part of the original series, because anything that happens in a filler arc is literally just trying to get to the next canon arc. So anything that is happening in the filler arc generally doesn't impact the canon story because it's just a different way of getting there. But there are a couple, with Naruto at any rate, there are a couple exceptions in the sense of characters that get introduced and technically still survive until the end of the series. Let's go over about as many of the filler arcs as we can go over. So one second, let me get I didn't actually have this up initially because I wasn't thinking on it that much. But Naruto filler arc. Okay, list of Naruto filler arcs. Okay, so here are the filler arcs, roughly speaking. We have canon / filler. One second here. Okay, there we go, filler. So the first filler, we have a filler episode. That's just special report. That's one of those things that's just kind of summing up stuff. So in terms of one of the first filler arc, it wasn't even an arc really. It was very short, but it was between the getting Tsunade back arc and the Sasuke retrieval arc. Basically, they go on this mission to help a individual known as, I believe his name is Adate. That was Adate. And it introduced the lightning sword of the second Hokage. And that's where Sasuke got jealous. If anything in that arc was canon, it actually wouldn't impact the story that much. Because again, Sasuke ended up where he ended up in the hospital and being jealous of Naruto. This just heightens that jealousy even more. So nothing filler really happens there. Then afterwards, we get the massive amount of filler stuff that happens between the fight at the Valley of the End and Naruto actually, leaving. Now, surprisingly, there are one or two episodes that do have some mix of canon stuff in there. The 3 villains from Maximum Security Prison, Sakura's Determination. But ultimately, none of the filler arc in the original Naruto series has any long-term effect on the overall arc or overall story of Naruto, with the exception you could make. You could, mind you, of the C arc they went on, Battle at Sea of Power Unleashed, where what was the character's name? The girl who unfortunately was experimented on and could turn basically into like a fish hybrid. That was the only character. First off, she survived, so you could make an argument that she could return to the village or just be around. I mean, she would be around. But then we get into other arcs. Now, let me see here. The first filler arc in Shippuden, robbed of sleep, loneliness, a new enemy, impaired. Now, if I remember the first arc, it was the pseudo Jinchuriki arc with Sora was his name? Like the monk who had part of the Fox's Chakra in, but his dad was like the whole sweet potato thing. Now, there wouldn't be much. Again, he could be around for a little bit, but he wouldn't have any real long-term bearing on the story because he went off and, did his own thing. After that, you had if I remember correctly, that was the 3-10. Yep, it was the Crystal release. Now, this is one of the few arcs, because of the character that was introduced, that could have a very larger impact on the story because of the character. Again, I can't remember her name, but the crystal user who if they were to call upon her for aid, would be very capable of aiding in the future. But here's the thing: anyone who is capable of aiding in the future would not be around until the Shinobi War arc. That, I think, is the catch here. You also have the brief Six Tails arc, but that has no relevance at all. The big adventure, the quest of the Fourth Hokage's legacy, doesn't matter. That was not only a filler, that was a flashback filler. Then you have then you have the, oh god, what was this? Love Song, Gaara's Bond, Naruto's Outbreak, Hero of the... You had here's the thing, you had 4 episodes during the Pain Invasion arc. You had the big adventure, Quest for the Fourth Hokage's Legacy, Part 1 and 2. Then you had 4 more episodes of the actual canon story, and then you went into this extremely annoyingly long, no joke, 20-episode freaking long filler of just this random episodes of that. There was nothing relevant in this at all, except for that Kakashi may or may not have had a girlfriend at one point. So there's that. Then you get back into the canon stuff with Danzo and all that stuff. Kakashi Hatake, the Hokage, Prophecy of the Great Lord Elder, Storage. Let's see here, the 5 Kage decision. So the Kage side. Then you got the next filler. Now this one, you've got basically, again, it's another freaking nearly 20 episodes of basically them transporting Naruto to the freaking Turtle Island. God almighty. But nothing of relevance happened there either. Then there was 4 filler episodes between the Shinobi forces assembling, and then the actual fighting happens. That Road to Soccer episode where you get the soccer from the Road to Ninja movie, parallel universe going into our universe. The White Zetsu Trap, Aesthetics of an Artist, and Allied Mom Force. Oh god, the Allied Mom Force. And then you get 2 more actual canon episodes. Then you get Helm Splitter. You basically get a lot of the filler stuff. Again, Power. I remember those were weird episodes. Those are weird episodes of that one. I have no idea what the deal with that was. Then you have Naruto enters the battle. Again, nothing of any substance is happening in these. There's so many Ghosts of the Past, Underworld Transformation Jutsu, the Vengeful. So many. Just all. You have brought in so many filler characters into even the Shinobi War arc. Since we're in the Shinobi War arc, since I'm going through all of these, we should know that since we're in the War arc, they would be calling on every ally I can. So you would even get, I can't remember her name, but the crystal user coming in. Maybe you would get the water, the girl who could turn into a fish. You would get them showing up as well to aid, and they would be probably very useful. They could pin down the Edo Tensei corpses pretty well. She'd be able to contain them pretty effectively. She could be very useful. So I gotta give credit where credit's due on that. Then we get actually a long stretch of canon episodes from the reinforcements arrive all the way to World of Dreams, basically Obito and Madara, doing a thing. Then you get this whole stick of Kakashi, Shadow of the Anbu Blackhawk story. I didn't watch it. I'll be honest, I didn't watch any of these filler. So, Jonin Leader, all that, Squad 7, basically kind of telling the story of Kakashi. And then Kakashi hears all the ally forces, jutsu, the ties that bind. Again, a bunch of canon stuff. The directive to take down the Nine Tails, the Naruto versus Mecha Naruto. Okay, the Naruto versus Mecha Naruto one was weird. Just weird. But ultimately, yeah. Nothing really happens there. A first friend, an adored elder sister, and Hanabi's decision. The process. So that seems to be mostly Hanabi and Hinata centered. Then you get a true ending, which I believe was leading us into most of the final confrontation. The new tuning exam. The tuning exam begins 3 questions. I mean, all of this is just getting replayed over and over. Hope and trust in the future. Then on the brink of death, the 2 Mangekyous. They just, for some reason, decided to splice so much filler within canon episodes. Like, I don't get it. I just don't understand why they did this. And then there's a mix of canon and filler. God. And keeps going on. Ultimately, my real ultimate answer to this is the fact that I do not believe that the filler, if any of the filler became canon, would have any large or significant impact on the overall story of Naruto. The problem is there's so much filler. Naruto, unfortunately, is notorious for not just having a lot of filler, but having a lot of filler. And not even a lot of good filler. Like, most of the Naruto episodes in the original series that were filler weren't that good. Some of the shipping stuff is okay. Some of the shipping, at least, again, in my opinion, some of the shipping stuff is okay. But most of it just didn't need to exist. For some reason, they felt they had to pad it out to the extreme, and maybe it's because the series was still going on and they were catching up to the manga, so they had to pad it out. And I can understand that to a degree. I can. It's kind of why it's partly why Bleach got taken off the air after the Fullbring arc, because they were too close to the manga at that point. But then they didn't do it. Like, they didn't finish it out. Now, luckily, we are getting Bleach finished out next year, but for some reason, they just didn't finish it. I don't know why. I actually don't. Like, yeah, you take your time. Don't catch up with the manga too quickly. But once Kubo was pretty confident he was halfway done with the arc, he could have said, okay, now start putting episodes into production if you feel that there's an audience for it. And clearly, from the reception Bleach got for its return, there's clearly still an audience for Bleach. It was trending, for God's sake, on freaking Twitter and like most of the social media platforms. So, yeah, there was clearly an audience for it. I digress, because I like Bleach more than Naruto, frankly. Even though I do mostly Naruto and Dragon Ball Z what ifs, just because that's the bulk majority of my requests. Not so much anymore, but between how many I get through or not. Anyway, I digress. Till then, though, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.